Hello, everybody. I don't usually address things like this, but this is basically a public response to a few events that have happened recently
Mardi Gras.
that we feel the need to address. And we don't usually make videos like this. In fact, I'm pretty sure we've only made one video like this in the past, but it's kind of serious enough that we need to address it. If you've been browsing the Bionicle fandom on Tumblr recently, you probably know what this is about. If you haven't and you have no clue what I'm talking about right now, don't worry about it. It doesn't really pertain to you.
Mm-hmm.
And before we go into too many details, I do need to say that we do not want anyone becoming our army or anything. We don't need anyone to fight for us. It's cool. Have it under control. We just need to make sure that we address this publicly so people aren't confused.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yes. So joining me today, we've got Meso. Say hi, Meso.
Hello.
LJ.
Hi.
Kahi.
Hello.
And Venom.
What's up?
Yes.
And of these people, 3 of us have been suspended from BZPower. 4 in total have been suspended from BZPower, and 2 more have also been suspended from BZPower who contacted us after the fact to tell us
That's a
they've been
total of
suspended. So,
6
yeah,
6
total of
people.
6. We know our math.
Yes.
Well,
MLG skills.
that's been Meso.
Yeah.
And yes, so
I would like
why-
to say one or two things before you begin. Just
Okay.
to get it out of the way. First of all, I would like to say we do not know how long this video is going to be. So just brace yourselves for that. There's going to be a lot of talking and a lot of background information that we present in this video that some of you may not be aware of. So it could run long. And number 2, as is evidenced by what we just said, this will be a video about BZPower. So if you don't care about BZPower and you're not invested in BZPower, some of you may not even know what BZPower is. As Var already said, this video may not pertain to you. So feel free to not watch it. This is for a certain audience that we need to clarify this for. So with that being said, go on.
Right. So, we've been suspended from BZPower for about a week. I think a week in total. And the reason for this is because we decided to vote in a poll, a mocking contest. And we all voted for one entry, a friend of ours named Lord Oblivion. And I guess for some reason, BZPower decided to call this cheating. And we were then suspended the next day. Apparently, we had coordinated an attack against a certain staff member who also was in the polls, and we were bad sports, quote unquote. And because of that, we were suspended for a week.
That is correct.
The main thing about that poll, I guess, should also be mentioned is the staff member's entry was tied
Right, yeah.
with the
okay.
entry that we voted for.
I bet, yeah, okay,
So-
so that's why I guess they thought that we were attacking the staff member is because his entry was tied for the one that we voted for.
Exactly. I can understand, I guess, from an outside perspective why they may think that, but as we are going to get into, that is not factually correct. But I guess before we do that, it'd be a good idea to get into the why of this whole thing. Why did this become an issue?
You wouldn't think this would be that big of an issue. It's just a contest or whatever. BZPower has plenty of contests all the time. Staff member in question has won plenty of them too. However, he decided to go on to Tumblr and publicly call us out, and he tagged Bionicle, meaning
Yes.
a simple search of Bionicle would have brought up this.
That's really the main reason why we're making this video in the first place. If this was just confined to the BZPower community, that would be one thing. We would not really see the need to make a full public statement. But this was tagged Bionicle. So any person searching Tumblr nowadays, especially with all the Bionicle 2015 news, is going to see a plethora of posts defaming us and calling us terrible people.
Or
And-
just a big argument in general.
Yeah, and we can't let that stand. We have to get the facts out there, and we have to tell everyone what really went down.
So a big spiel was made on BZPower Tumblr that was against us. And at first it was whatever, but more and more people started getting involved. And, you know, people were jumping in on both sides, either defending us or going against us, whatever. But it became a really big issue, and it became one of the top posts on the Bionicle Tumblr search, which kind of sucks because there's a lot of things that we do on our channel things that we try to do to help the community. I mean, we had Chroniclers Convergence and stuff, things to give other people recognition. We try to be really friendly to the Bionicle community. And it sucks that something like this had to become such a big deal when we have plenty of other things that could have, made it up there.
Especially at this time with everything that we're doing.
Especially at this time with Bionicle coming back. We should be all happy and rejoicing and, making funny images, hype training it up. But instead, this had to become an issue.
We had to take a break, and if you've noticed, videos slowed down on the channel right after San Diego Comic-Con. This is why.
Yeah, this is why. So, yeah, that is another thing. So, we were trying to cover San Diego Comic-Con at the time as well, and we had made it up to Sunday when this happened. And, as Mesa pointed out, you might have noticed that we never actually managed to make a follow-up video explaining what happened with Comic-Con. It's because we were too busy kind of dealing with this stuff. Other things, we had a bunch of videos that we were going to do. We were a little delayed on other things, so we ended up releasing. So that is unfortunate. So it's not only affected, the Bionicle Tumblr community, but it's also affected our channel as a whole, and it's been really annoying.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so basically that is what happened. We voted on a contest, we got suspended, and then we were called out on Tumblr. Big deal, all that stuff. But then it continued on. Arguments ensued, and we had to get involved. And we tried talking to the staff on BZPower about the issue. And we tried to point out that this wasn't a coordinated attack or anything. This was just fair voting. We voted within the timeline, or within the time frame. It was towards the end of the contest, of course, because Black Six didn't, or he posted a tweet about it on Twitter, advertising
very close to the deadline,
advertising the contest. So yeah, we saw it last minute, but whatever, we voted for it last minute, and we tried to explain this to staff, and everyone kind of seemed to side against us.
Really, what the big deal is here is there have been many instances in the past where people have a negative perception of certain groups in the Bionicle fandom, of stuff they think happened when that's really not the case. Rumors start flying. People talk about it behind the scenes in whisper voices in different sites. Nobody actually comes out and addresses the controversy. But that's what we're trying to do, because we don't want there to be any misinformation. Obviously, it's going to be rather difficult to provide concrete evidence either way. But I hope that the people that know us will listen to what we have to say and form their judgments accordingly.
Right. Now, I guess the thing that really gets me about this whole situation, that I find quite frustrating here, is that not only did we vote completely fairly and within the timeline, but we've basically been villainized for doing absolutely nothing wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And they're acting as if this was a new thing, like we're the only people to ever do this before in the past. But this is how basically every single poll on BZPower has run for a while now.
Yeah.
It's always been a popularity contest, and people always vote for the entry that they like. It's a contest. That's what you do. You vote for what you like.
Some people mass vote for mocks they think are good. Some people mass vote for their friends' mocks because they want them to win. And yes, sometimes it's not unheard of. People vote against entries they do not like per se, but this was not what happened in this specific instance.
Yeah, and is it bad sport? Is it kind of unfair? Well, yes, it is. But it's never been an issue before in the past, and BZPower has always allowed it before. In fact, it's happened to us numerous times in past contests, with staff members themselves also saying, hey, don't vote for this entry. It's run by those TTV guys. Vote for this other one.
Right. Now, bear in mind that was one staff member on their own personal blog, so, own personal opinion. But it suffice to say that you can always claim that somebody voted because of a bias, that somebody voted for you or against you because of something you'd done in their past or something. You can always claim that about somebody. When it comes to voting, you just kind of have to live with the fact that some people will be affected by all sorts of bias in their lives to vote. You just have to, that's what comes with voting. You
this
can't
is
do
how
anything about
voting
it.
in real life goes.
Right.
Exactly.
You can't control their thoughts. You can't see what they're thinking when they vote it and be like, well, your vote's ineligible because...
And you most certainly
this guy or something.
you most certainly can't punish people for voting.
No.
Right. As long as you're not, as long as we didn't use dupe accounts to try and inflate the
No.
votes.
We
or do
voted
that kind of thing.
on this entry within the timeline using our correct accounts on BZ Power, the accounts we've always used in the past, and we made it very public. We weren't trying to hide anything.
Yeah, I really have to bring this up. If we were trying to be all okay, let's wait till the last minute and let's get this guy and let's get him real good, make him lose. Don't you think that we would have gone invisible or tried to go about it in a sneaky way?
We probably would have been a
We
lot
did not.
smarter about
We
it.
probably would have been a lot smarter. Maybe if we really wanted to do that, maybe we wouldn't have all, voted at
Voted
once.
all at once.
No, we had nothing to hide. There was nothing.
didn't do
on the
anything
down
wrong.
low. We did not feel like we had to walk on pins and needles in this community, scared of
Yeah.
doing something wrong. And, really,
There was nothing to fear here. We weren't doing anything wrong. We've done what we've always done, what everyone's always done during contests. We voted.
So you may be asking yourself, well, that sounds pretty regular. What's really the big deal? Why does this person think that there was an ulterior motive against me? Well, there's a bit
Right.
of a story behind that, too.
The thing that I have to think, and the reason that we were punished, among all other things, is because a staff member was involved. A staff member was one of the entries in the contest, and this staff member lost the contest because we voted. That is basically why we got punished.
Pretty much.
I mean, if that doesn't scream unfair, then I don't know what does. But yes, as Meso pointed out, there is a story behind why this staff member in particular thinks that we were targeting them. And it's because of an issue on the blogs where after Makuta Fest, which was July 20th, someone was asking on their blog on BZ Power for a link to our message boards, which is completely fine. They wanted to join, so Meso linked him a link to the message boards, which is completely fine with BZ Power rules now. That used to be a thing where you couldn't link other forums, but they have recently changed that. Well, not recently. So you can link other message boards. We were completely within the rules when we did that.
We're not even we were not even trying to mass advertise our message boards on BZ Power or anything. I just posted the link not to spam it, but because the guy asked.
A dude
for it.
asked for it. Yeah, he asked for it
Right.
in his blog.
He was in Makuta Fest. It's not like he was another person. We had reached out to as many people as possible. He was at Makuta Fest, and he just lost the link to it. So he was just asking on BZ Power if anyone could give him that link, which Meso did.
Yeah, it was going to be given to him anyway.
And because of that, this staff member decided to respond with a rude message singling us out.
Talking about how what the construction community really needs is another splinter community, and what
Right.
based around a podcast that sells misinformation at best and outright fiction at worst. SMH,
Right.
which is like shake my head, I think.
Yeah, I'd shake my head.
Yeah,
that
we
was
don't sell anything.
that was the post. Thank you, Meso. But yeah, so that was the response we got, which was really uncalled for and unnecessary, but whatever. We decided to respond with like a joke, kind of going, oh yeah, you sure have us figured out. Sure, tell us more. And he then responded again with a long paragraph or a wall of text of just straight up gibberish. We had to basically decode it to understand what he was saying, but he was basically parroting us and mocking us or whatever. Typical thing,
A lot of this stuff made no sense, and I don't really know how it's applicable to us, but there's one specific train of logic he's got.
There is definitely one thing he was targeting specifically, and that was the Bionicle Autopsy, the Monopoly of BZPower.
Yeah, and he made this more evident in future blog
Yeah,
posts.
he made it more evident later on,
and
but
on
it was pretty
Tumblr.
obvious here, too, that that's what he was referring to. In which case, I then responded, I explained our channel a bit more to him, and I offered to make a retraction video to, fix any of the claims that he said were misinformation. He never responded, so that was that. We thought it was, okay, whatever. I guess that's it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's important to note that the reason that we all came onto this post specifically is because it's not like someone had mentioned, TTV and he had given out his opinion about us. this was a fan of ours who wanted to be, part of our fan event, and or our fan, site. And he was actively coming onto this blog post and saying things in order to discourage this fan or trying to, the
Right, he
famous
was trying to
on
discourage
his-
him from joining
Right.
our forums.
It wasn't so much that he just gave an opinion about us that was mostly negative. It was that he was trying to actively do this to try to discourage a fan from joining us, and that's why we felt like we had to come to that defense and be like,
Yeah.
hey, let's set the record straight here so that one of our fans isn't confused about
It was
it.
like almost as if the fan was being attacked for wanting to join our forums. That's what
Right.
it
Yeah.
came off like.
Right, and it's also bear in mind that this is a very high up staff member on the board.
Okay,
So-
yeah, that does need to be made clear. This isn't just any random staff guy. This is a pretty big staff name.
Right,
Mhm.
they have a
So-
staff member comment on your blog is one thing, but to have them, kind of comment in this degree is kind of never. It's something that you take attention to. So we wanted to make sure that everything was cleared up for him.
But yeah, so that was it. But then come the polls and our voting, he decided to make another spiel about it on Tumblr. And it should also be noted that it wouldn't be the first time he's insulted us on Tumblr either. He's done it before. And even then it was just whatever. It's just another dude who was insulting us. Doesn't matter.
And
Wasn't
I-
that big of a deal.
And we were kind of like, we were curious as to why he would have distaste for us. We knew it was probably the Monopoly video. But for all these people that seem to dislike the Monopoly of BZPower Autopsy, nobody ever seems to dislike it enough to actually come to us and ask
no.
for clarification.
That's
or a
the thing. It's like a
retraction.
lot of people will say, "Oh, this is just stupid, the worst video ever." No one ever tries to say, "This is why it's wrong. You guys did this part wrong." That's
no one's
that's
clarified on why it's
That
so
was-
bad, on what we're misinforming people about.
I would imagine
Right.
that's why a lot
Right.
of BZPower, or at least one reason why some of them may take issue with us, is that video. Potentially
oh, I'm definitely
damaging
sure. Yeah.
their name. But in the year plus that video has been up, I don't exactly know how long it's been up. Probably more than a year.
It's been a while. Yeah, it's been about a year.
We have never received one message from any BZPower staff member asking us to clarify, retract, or change,
Take it down.
take it
Yeah.
down,
Right.
or even just an olive branch to try to say no, we didn't do these things. And
Not a
should
single
also
one
be
of them.
noted. And I know Var, you elaborated on this on a blog post of yours in response to DV later on.
Right,
The
and
intent of that video was not to defame. And there was one specific instance in
Oh,
the
sorry.
video where I think a lot of people take issue with it, and it was the section in regards to the Kausu Buntai.
Right. And the thing that really gets me about people and their problems with the Monopoly is not that they didn't come to us. It's that it's almost like they didn't actually watch the video. It's like they heard BZ Power, they heard hackers and taking down other forums, and they immediately thought, oh, this guy's saying that BZ Power hacks other forums. It's like they didn't pay attention to any of the wording I said. And it's very clear with the blog post because he mentions that we state things as fact, that we spread misinformation as if it's fact. And that's some very specific wording. He's basically saying that what we do in our presentation is that we are saying all this as if it is completely true, which is completely false. Because if you watch the video, I state numerous times that it's all speculation, that it's just a theory, that it's just us making a story from what we've been presented with.
You literally even said a comment that this theory isn't even really factually sound, but it should be kept in mind that it is a possibility.
Yeah, I did say that. I said it's not even that factually sound in the video.
Right.
It's very clear to me that the people that are having issue with this and posting about it didn't actually watch the video.
Right, and the only reason it was mentioned is because it was a rumor that had gone on for a bit, and it wasn't very proliferant, but it was enough of a rumor that we could sit back and analyze what the effect that kind of thing would have on a fandom.
Exactly.
Not necessarily that
Exactly.
BZ Power is doing it, but like, what if a site decided to do this to a fandom? What are the effects of that? What are the effects of having this monopoly? The idea wasn't to necessarily defame BZ Power as, oh, these are the people that have, killed Bionicle and killed the activity because, of all this stuff. It's just examining what happens when one site or one certain individual
Has too much influence over a
Yeah,
fandom.
exactly.
And
how-
BZ Power was merely just an example. because
Right.
at the time they were one of the more popular assets for the fandom. That's where a lot of people would go. They were basically number one when it came to Bionicle community.
And
Exactly.
it was close to home too, because we had,
Yeah,
we
this is close to home. We were
happened there.
yeah,
more
we
than
were a
any
part
other
of
site.
BZP.
We were able,
So-
and like I see some people posting comments all the time about how TTV said BZPower killed Bionicle.
Yeah, okay. More people who didn't watch the video.
Yeah.
Like, okay, first of all, we don't need people speaking for us. That is something that kind of drives me nuts, is when people misquote something that we might have said or tattle on us as if we were talking crap about someone when we weren't. It's really annoying, and it starts to set a bad precedent for the rest of the fandom, and it makes our name look bad, and we're not even the ones talking.
Yeah, like I know some of our videos are pretty long and you may mishear a thing here or there, but you don't need to go around like saying TTV said this. Just if you really want to get our message across, just link the video if you're
Right.
an honest person that wants people to hear
Right.
what we have to say.
Exactly, just link the
Point
video.
out a time frame if you want.
And this could also be compared to the recent Bionicle 2015 stuff. A lot of people were going around saying TTV confirmed 100%, but we didn't say that in the video.
It was a comment that said it was our opinion.
Yeah, it was a
legit.
comment
Yeah.
that said that we believe is 100% confirmed. That's completely different than saying it is 100% confirmed.
Right.
A lot of people mess up the wording a lot, and they spread rumors as if they're facts, and
Yeah.
then it makes us look bad.
That's actually spreading rumors as facts. This is actually a very apt transition to the current situation. So that's the why. That's the background. This
But
staff
then-
member thinks that we targeted them because of animosity from this blog post. That's the short version.
Because of that, the staff member went on Tumblr and decided to complain about us and call us out, tagging Bionicle, so basically anyone could see it. And it was becoming a pretty big deal. We decided that we had to get involved ourselves, so we responded with it. We also offered, yet again, we offered to make a retraction video. This
One of
offer was once again ignored, and throughout all of this staff member decided to finally tell us his thoughts about our channel or whatever.
Oh, here we go.
And man, was it way off.
It was quite frankly embarrassing to see that much misinformation.
Yeah, it was embarrassing to see that much wrong. So the guy started listing out why he didn't like us and why he thinks we're a terrible channel. And the entire post, it's so clear that he doesn't know a single thing about our channel. He says LJ is the head of TTV,
Yeah,
which always makes me laugh.
it's
And
very amusing.
God forbid that ever actually happens. If that does, I'm leaving. I hope you all are aware of this. I'm gone.
LJ's never going to be head of TTV.
Yeah, if he was, I wouldn't be here.
Yeah, so
He probably would have
like,
fired me.
he has negative feelings towards LJ in particular because of a bunch of stuff, and he says, "Well, LJ is the head of your guys' group, so I do not enjoy that his
Right.
being can spread to all of your projects and whatnot."
Yeah, apparently, yeah, that's the thing. So this guy has very clear animosity and hate or bias towards LJ, despite not knowing LJ whatsoever. He dislikes LJ, and because of that, he dislikes our channel, basically. He thinks LJ's in charge, and because of that, obviously everything else has got LJ all over it.
I wonder if he thinks LJ did the Monopoly video. It's not even like a joke, that's a legitimate question. I wonder if he thinks that.
You know, it really wouldn't surprise me if he thought that.
And I know a lot of it's because LJ is, he's very, or like, I guess rather he used to be very outspoken about stuff, and he is a public figure on our channel. The fans, you guys love LJ. LJ this, LJ that. On Makuta Fest, BZPower got flooded with LJ
Right.
fan fiction, so there's
I think a lot
there's
a lot of the
prevailing note of like LJ when you associate it with TT.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, LJ's popular here, so I guess it's just an assumption that he's in charge, I guess. I don't know. A lot of people that don't like us don't understand that we were kids at some point. And I find that really interesting because, we spent most of our life on BZPower when we were in our teenage years, our awkward teenage stage where we didn't know what we were talking about.
I joined when I
And-
was 10.
Yeah, Messer joined. We started the
preteen
podcast.
years.
I was 12 when we started our podcast, and that was on BZPower, and we did a lot of crap on BZPower.
Mm-hmm.
We screwed around, we made stupid posts, we did a bunch of dumb stuff. We were kids. Since then, we have moved away from BZPower. It's been about 5 years since any of us have actively had a presence on BZP.
Yeah.
And during that time, guess what? We've kind of grown up. We're not kids anymore. We're not 12 anymore.
Yeah, we're not
We're
going
doing
around starting fights and posting stupid stuff.
We're not on BZPower posting stupid crap. We're here doing our own thing, completely unrelated to BZPower.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad, really, that throughout all of this, you know, we all met on BZPower. BZPower was a really big part of our lives. In fact, our channel was basically founded on BZPower, and we owe a lot to BZP, really. I mean, we wouldn't have met had it not been for BZP. We did a lot of growing up on BZPower, and it's kind of a shame that something like this has to happen when it shouldn't have happened. It's such a small deal. It really isn't that, you know, it's not that important. It's just a mock contest, one mock contest.
Yeah.
But it's become a big spiel now, and we've been dragged into it.
Yeah, we tried to cut to the heart of the issue. Like, obviously, we can argue, did we do this or did we do this all day? No one has any proof one way or the other. We tried to get right to the heart of the animosity and try to address that head on, the misinfo about the channel. But nobody really, I guess, cares in a significant degree because no one asked for retraction.
People are loving to use it as if it's, you know, people are loving to use that for mudslinging, to throw around insults about us, but none of them are willing to fix it.
Yeah, but that being said, we're the bigger people. We'll do it even if they don't ask for it. Like, Var, I know you have no issue.
I don't have any issue doing it.
If there was any misinformation spread, we will, you know, send us the correct information and we'll make a retraction video immediately. In fact, like, you know, it has been brought to our attention that some of the stuff, obviously it's, you know, it's been mentioned before that we spread information, but nobody has sat down and said, this is what the misinformation is.
That's
it's just something that's thrown around.
Instance we've heard of is the Kausu Buntai.
That's the most right.
Yeah, the Kausu Buntai is the only thing I've heard that's been misinformation.
Yeah, because
they can't say, oh, they can't say Bionicle's misinformation. It's not misinformation.
No.
We were very, very clear that it was all speculation when we reported the news.
Yeah. And like we've heard since from BZP staff, I guess, making these offhand comments, so we've been able to deduce this. But we've also heard from Kausu Buntai members, if you can believe it, posting in the video comments. They did not do this. So I guess that's as clear-cut as you can really get. The theory's wrong. Oh well, I guess it's a good thing we didn't present it as fact, or else we'd really have to go back editing it out. Huh.
I know, right? It's a good thing we didn't say it was fact or anything. Jeez.
That's the only reason why we haven't made a retraction video so far. The only thing that's been disproven to us was something that we stated was theory in the video. We didn't think that we needed to make a retraction for something that we've said it was not factually sound to begin with.
Oh my god, it still gets me that people just cannot listen. That I find that so funny. They are completely willing to go around, start fights, and make claims without ever checking their source whatsoever. They can watch our video. They can say that you're spreading misinformation as if it were fact, but they can't listen to the words that we're speaking. They can't hear that I'm clearly saying it's not fact.
There is something in the English language that does describe that, and that just so happens to be selective hearing.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically, they're hearing what they want to hear, not what I'm actually saying.
Also, welcome back, LJ. We addressed the part where people think you're the head of TTV. Do you have any comments on this?
It's pretty obvious that I am. I mean, you know, I'm the spearhead of everything that we do.
You're in every video we ever.
Easy to understand.
I guess now we can talk about the heart of the issue all day, but I guess we should try to get into specifics of the poll and what we did here or there.
A link to it was posted on Twitter, I think an hour from its closing, sometime during that time. And Meso, you forwarded the link to us here on the chat. We were in a call at the time. We're always in a call. We always are in a call.
That's really the big issue. And I think
I
the
don't think
staff
people
don't
understand that.
I don't think the fans understand it, and I do not think the BZP staff are familiar with such a concept, which may be why they're leaping to these conclusions. we are not the kind of a group that casually knows each other and every week we decide to convene for a podcast. We're pretty much always around, be it in Skype chat or Skype call. At the time, we just so happened to be microphone chatting. So when one person, aka me, brings up this link, then everyone is made aware of it at once. It's not a coordinated effort, but everyone knows about it.
Right.
Yeah,
It's
we were
it's
all
similar to
hanging-
being in the same room, kind of. Like if you and your friends are in one room together and, someone gets a text or like a Facebook message or something and they, decide to check that, it's the same principle applied to, over the internet. We're always in a Skype call. Just about every night here is spent in a Skype call with us. Just, we play video games, we hang out, we just talk about random stuff, movies, mock, etc.
Yeah.
We hang out a lot. And
Literally
that's,
every night.
right.
I think last night was probably the first night we weren't all in a call in a long, long time.
Yeah.
Right. And
In fact, I think there was a call. I just wasn't a part of it.
Yeah.
No, yeah, there was. Remember? You
Yeah.
came in.
Yeah,
Now, there was one last night.
That night we were all in a call together already talking about something else. Then Meso brings up the Twitter post that B6 made about, look at the poll, there's
Go vote,
a
it's
tie
about to
going on,
end.
etc., etc. Go vote, it's going to end really soon. Cash in all your votes before it ends. That's
Yeah.
what we did.
And
Will
Yeah.
you be the tiebreaker was part of the actual phrasing. It says,
Okay,
are
yeah,
you going
no.
to be the person that breaks the tie? Which presumably means, are you going to vote at the last minute in order to break the I mean, that's what it implies, mostly, when you say tiebreaker.
B6 basically told everybody that saw his Twitter to go vote and break the and make the tiebreaker. We kind of did that. Not only us, but some other people also.
Yeah, who were
went
also
in,
all
voted.
Okay, I know I mentioned this before, but this is so funny. So yeah, we went in there, we voted, we got suspended, but we weren't the only people that got suspended. 2 other people that we know got suspended for voting, and we had to hear about it in our forums. They got suspended because not only did they vote, but they're members on our forums.
Yes, and like DV even says he cross-checked the names of the people that voted with the people in our forums, and they are guilty by association.
They got suspended because they were associated with us. And if that is not total crap, I don't know what is. But
They weren't even directly associated with us. They're just people on our forums.
right,
The people that
On our message
we
boards.
have known for a bit of time, but
Right.
that's almost all BZPower members. That's like if he had posted
Exactly.
a link to the thing on his Tumblr and said, hey, you guys go vote for this, and the Lord Oblivion was like, hold up.
It's like, what if
No.
we had voted for this staff member in question?
if we had voted for the staff member, nothing would have happened. It was because we didn't vote for the staff member.
Like, it's like, wait, I voted for you and you're banning me? No,
Yeah, that
like, come on.
we voted. Okay, so yeah, Messa posted the link. We all saw it. We all went through the mocks. We noticed our friend we noticed our friend Lord Oblivion was there, so we voted for him.
No,
It's worth noting that.
Okay, I think Kai's gonna say what I'm gonna say. I'll let you have the floor first.
No, it's okay. Well, I guess it is worth noting that Lord Oblivion is a friend of ours. We know him, and he's someone that we've interacted with before. In fact, he actually sent us a message later on after telling him that we voted for him. He sent a message thanking us, saying, "Oh, thanks you guys for helping me win and voting for me in this contest." It's not just it just happened to be somebody that was in the tiebreaker. It was someone we actually knew. And yes, I mean, you could also say, well, technically that's bias. You're voting for somebody not because of the quality of the mug, but because you know them. That is fair, but at the same time, that's something that you just have to take into account while voting. I don't think it's unfair to vote for somebody that you know in a poll.
There are two things. There's a
That's pretty
far
much what it
cry.
was.
There's a far cry between voting up somebody and voting down someone.
Right.
The form
Okay, and
is what
that-
we did.
That was something that a staff member brought up to us after the fact too, is that we got suspended because we didn't vote up someone, we voted down someone. That was the exact wording used.
Yeah, as
Yeah.
far as I recollect, on that night, I clicked that link and I thought, hey, Lord Oblivion, I'm gonna vote for him. I need to vote him up.
The thing that gets me is that that's still crap. People have voted down other people all the time. Even if we did do that, it's not an issue. That wasn't against the rules. It's happened to us in several contests by staff members. It's like suddenly, now that we've done it and a staff member is the one on the receiving end, suddenly it's against the rules. No, it's not written in the rules anywhere. No, that'd be ridiculous. No, it just happened to a staff member, so suspension. You guys can't do that. Sorry.
Yeah.
We're gonna look out for our staffies. They're gonna be the ones who win. How dare you decide to not vote for our staff member? That's how it's come off, and it's completely ridiculous. It's complete hypocrisy, and it's ridiculous.
Now, I do have to say one thing. I do want to make clear, because a big part of the staff member's argument was that, well, you didn't vote till the last minute, ergo you must have been conspiring to get your votes in at the last second to skew the results. However, taking into account what we said earlier about debating the entries, it's not like we just said, oh, hey, Lord Oblivion, he automatically gets our vote. No, had we disliked Lord Oblivion's mock, we would not have voted for him. So we spent ample time analyzing the mocks that were in there and discussing them and critiquing them. And then we noticed, oh, hey, this is taking a little long. We should actually vote on something. You know?
Before it's too late and the vote gets closed.
Even that gets me, though, because it's just like, even if we did wait till the last minute to vote for it, if we did that, it's still not against the rules.
There are no rules saying that that is not acceptable now.
Right. And it's complete BS to say that's bad sportsmanship, that, you can't wait till the last minute to vote for something. Okay, fine. Say we did wait till the last minute to vote for something. That means that person who would have gotten our votes anyway, had we not waited till the last minute to vote on them, he would have gotten our votes anyway. He just got our votes, and the other person didn't. Had we voted 10 minutes earlier, it would have been the same outcome.
Pretty much.
We voted for that person, and the other person who didn't win didn't get our votes.
Pretty much.
It would have been the exact same thing. And the thing that makes me question why this would be a problem is because since we voted for the last minute, the person who's on the losing end of the tiebreaker doesn't have enough time to ask people to vote for them. Well, geez, shouldn't that be against the rule too?
You'd think.
So it's a bunch of crap.
Yeah.
Something that's brought up as the counter argument to all this is, well, doing this kind of thing, it takes away from the fun of having a contest. The contest is supposed to be fun. By dragging other things into it, by trying to defame somebody else, you're ruining that kind of, ruining that fun, you're ruining that enjoyment. Which,
who are we defaming?
Well, yeah, I'm not going to disagree with that, because that does make a lot of nice, fuzzy fandom sense. And like, yeah, we're all supposed to be united. Why are you bringing other drama into this? But it's been done before. It's happened a lot of times to a lot of other people. In fact, you can even see on screen
staff members.
Right. That has happened before. And now, if you want to ignore that, if you want to say, well, I'm sorry, there's nothing we can do about it, well, fine, I can get that. That's just how voting works. You can't control everything. But suddenly, now, when it's somebody who is in the position where they can petition for a revote, when it's something like that, suddenly the rules are changed. Suddenly the attitude has changed. When it's no longer like, I'm sorry, we can't control how voting works, to, I guess we can control how voting works.
Yeah.
In fact, let's do a revote right now, because that was not
without
fair.
even consulting the other person.
And that was another thing.
Not only is that not fair to Lord Oblivion, but it's not fair to any of the other entries in the contest either.
He was not consulted. He wasn't asked, like, hey, this wasn't fair. Are you okay with us doing a revote? Because you did still technically win. It just immediately happened. And that's the thing that kind of gets me. It's not so much that, like, the reasons people give or the attitude they even have about it. It's that the attitude has switched. And it's switched to a point where it's convenient for somebody who is in close relation to somebody who runs the site for their benefit.
Exactly. It is rigged, is basically what it is.
There is no evidence one way or the other to show that anything was done, which is why it's so appalling that we were banned based on what basically amounts to speculation. But
But Meso, speculation equals fact.
Well, anyway, pretty much the only piece of quote-unquote evidence that they claim to have of our misconduct is a tweet that was sent out on the TTV Twitter account. And it's very important that we address this and explain what actually happened in regards to this. I will admit, wholeheartedly, it was not a good idea. And this tweet should not have been sent out. And you can see it on the screen right now. Because what basically happened was, after the poll results were closed, and we looked back at the polls to see who had ended up winning, we noticed that not only had it been the entry we voted for that was in the tie, but that the person that had lost was this staff member that we had words with a little while ago. And I'll be honest, we're not perfect people. We thought it was pretty ironic, and we thought it was
pretty hilarious.
We thought it was pretty funny.
It was pretty ironic, yeah. At the end of everything, the person who ended up, not winning the poll because we had voted for, or you guys, I guess, you guys had voted for somebody else. That person was the exact same person who had just said some very negative things on the blogs earlier, to us. That whole spiel about the blogs and that a staff member coming in and telling that stuff to a fan. It was the same person, and we found that very, very ironic, considering that nothing was really done about that. The blog thing just kind of phased out. There was nothing was no punishment was given, and no retractions were given, and no apologies. It just kind of fizzled out.
Nobody spoke about it again.
We thought that was almost a bit like like a karmic standing.
Yeah. And the tweet that was sent out was, "Wow, that was a close contest," implying, of course, it would have been a close contest had we not seen the poll and decided to vote, because everyone's so far removed from BZPower, we normally don't pay any attention to polls. It's up to the TTV Twitter to let us know when stuff happens. So that is what happened with that, but people said, oh, well, they sent out this tweet, and that proves beyond a shadow of a doubt they are evil people that conspired to do this, and they don't care. Who knows that they did it because they're proclaiming it to the world on Twitter, and they're evil people, and they deserve to be punished. That is not the case. It was simply a big misunderstanding.
After that, a lot of convenient LJ hate blogs and stuff started circulating around the smaller, Tumblr base. Yeah. Which, having problems with a cast member, that's one thing. We can't sit down and say, well, you're wrong because you didn't like us. But it was conveniently tied into, and some of the stuff they said were either a little erroneous or a little extreme.
There's a lot of extreme stuff said, and funny thing is, a lot of it was tagged BZPower, so a quick search at BZP would have resulted in any of it.
Mm-hmm.
That it's right. Like they did not bother hiding their hatred at all. They just went off completely bashing and made it very public.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing, and can we actually? I mean, I know we do not normally swear on this podcast or any other, and I guess we could partially censor it as well. But one of the things the staff member wrote was not directed towards LD specifically, but it was just about the channel as a whole. And the quote was, I believe, that we are a Lego tabloid. We thrive on making up stories based on half-truth and selling them as speculation for views. They are a Lego tabloid run by a sexist, homophobic a-hole, quote unquote. That is an example of some of the things that were being said on Tumblr, alongside, everything specifically directed towards LJ and others just directed towards the channel, which I kind of take a little bit of offense to, because that's a very, very large generalization to what we do and who we are. We're all made of different viewpoints and opinions and all that stuff. And to necessarily say that when, my own personal views don't really side of that, and I know, Vars and Meso and Venom and LJ, we all have these other different views, but they kind of generalize it and put us all as sexist and, homophobic and all these other words that are very discriminatory and very, pointed and attacking. They're making us out to be very...
They basically
aren't
label
true.
us.
Yeah,
they label us based on the most loose statements made by maybe a single person.
Yeah, and none of them know us.
It's unfair.
They haven't talked to us. They don't know us. We haven't talked in years. And I find it just funny how they would they would throw that crap out there as if they
Right.
know us whatsoever, but they don't. And anyway, a big mess was made.
Yeah.
Basically, what this all comes down to is that we were suspended through hypocrisy and overzealous behavior from a very high-ranking staff member, and we've been targeted and we've been put out on the spotlight by this person, not only on BZPower, but on other social media. And throughout all of it, not only has it been unfair, one-sided, and hypocritical, but the rest of the staff haven't done anything about it.
I'll be honest, we've tried to get this resolved through staff channels. We've done our best. We've contacted some of the lower ranking staff that were involved in the thing, and they've been nice, but they haven't done anything because they don't have the power to.
We've tried, they can't do anything.
We've tried contacting higher up staff, but
We've been ignored.
We've been ignored because of Brickfair. Like, I do not fault people for like having fun at a convention, but this is an important issue. We were doing our best to wait and try to get this resolved privately before talking about this. And by the time this video goes up, it's very likely our bans may have already expired because of how long we waited. But the staff, the people that could do something, have not done anything, and they never even asked us for our take. They just banned us.
They just straight up did their response and got rid of us without ever contacting us. We got no warning for misconduct or anything whatsoever. We were just suspended. And that sucks. We think this is really important, but I guess they don't. They haven't responded to us. So with that said, we are not really happy with the way that BZPower is conducting this, and the fact that they're condoning behavior from such a high-ranking staff member with such an influence over the forums it's disturbing. It's not just the fact that the polls have basically been rigged, but it's the fact that this person has not only decided to basically rig the polls in his favor, but he's gone around actively bashing us onto their site and on various other sites, and the staff are condoning it. They're allowing this to happen. This isn't just any random person. This is a big name. He's an important, integral part of BZPower. What he says does affect BZPower's image, just like how whatever LJ says affects our image. LJ's not even that high up, but here he is. People are claiming that he's the head of TTV. Things that he says, we say apparently. We have to understand that as public figures, what we say can be used against us, and it's clearly happened to us. And it's mind-boggling to me that the rest of the staff have not only condoned it, not only allowed it to happen, but they've basically given this guy a pat in the back and said, good job, by suspending us without even hearing our side of the story whatsoever or giving us any kind of warning at all. It's awful. And it's disgusting that this person is allowed to say the things that he says, which are not appropriate and not something I would like someone who calls himself a Lego ambassador to say, especially out in the public where anyone can see it. I mean, sure, they can use the excuse that they can't control personal blogs all they want, but it's not just on the blogs.
Yeah,
it's he's made it on BZPower, and he's made it very public.
Yeah.
It is a terrible.
They call themselves Lego ambassadors.
This is not a manner which is befitting of that title, because I understand the whole thing to where they own the forum, they can ban whoever they want for whatever reason, they have that power, but I would expect at least an inquiry, a follow-up.
I would expect some kind of sense of professional behavior if these people are going to call themselves Lego ambassadors and use that against us. Because this person in question has used that against us to insult us, that we're spreading misinformation and that they're Lego ambassadors.
Yeah, you call yourself a Lego ambassador. You have all the audacity to call yourself a Lego ambassador, and then you tell us straight in our faces. You call us you label us in our faces based on your ignorance,
screwed up
beliefs.
Perceptions, not even beliefs, no, just screwed up perceptions,
while claiming that we spread misinformation.
While claiming that we're the ones who spread misinformation,
but not caring enough about our misinformation to get it corrected. These people are adults. I don't think like a lot of
Yeah,
people
they're
realize
adults.
this.
They're
That they're
grown adults.
way older than us, conducting themselves in a manner where they prefer to talk about people behind their backs on
They're
Tumblr
acting like a bunch of children.
instead of facing the issue head on.
I mean, this is ridiculous. I do not think that Lego would condone this kind of behavior. Of
No.
all people, like what on earth?
It's very shameful.
The things
Should
that
feel
the staff
ashamed of yourself.
members, the things that the staff members say, and not all the staff members. We need to make that clear. Not everyone in BZ Power is bad. No one in BZ Power is bad. But there are a select few that are very public about some of the things they say. And some of the things they say is downright disgusting. It's awful. I cannot believe adults, mind you, that call themselves Lego ambassadors go on and talk this much garbage. It's just mind-boggling. And yeah, I can't believe that nothing about this has been done and that we're the ones being punished.
I'll be honest, I was not part of the group of members that voted. I was not part of the group of members who got punished. But I see this as a very big error in judgment for the BZ Power administration, because I feel that there are two clear policies you can have when it comes to voting. The first policy is to say, hey, votes count no matter what. We're not mind readers. We can't tell what people are thinking when they look at the list of votes and choose which entry they're going to do. We can't tell if there's bias or grudges or malicious intent behind it. I'm sorry, this is just what comes with the territory of voting. You're just going to have to live with the fact that people could vote for something other than the actual content of the entry. That's just how it is. Now, the second policy is to say, okay, we're going to crack down on this. Votes have to be about the actual entry. If it's not about the actual entry, if we suspect that you're doing it because of any biases, malicious intent, or history, or whatever against the member, or whatever have you, that's not about the specific content, that vote is invalidated. That vote no longer counts. But in either one of the policies, I think that BZ Power administration is still kind of at fault. Obviously, for the first one, if all votes count, then TTV should not have been punished in any way, shape, or form. They voted within entitlement with their actual member account. That should be no cause for invalidating their posts. But if BZ Power wants to claim that it's stuck by policy 2 this entire time, then we have another problem. This isn't the first time this kind of thing has happened in the BZ Power polls. There have been countless other members, both just regular BZ Power members and staff members, who have specifically gone at other sites and said, hey, this member and this entry are winning. I do not believe they deserve to win. Please vote for this other entry and this other member so that that specific member does not win. That has happened before, and honestly, I believe it will happen again. And to be completely honest, I don't have a single problem with that. I think that is perfectly fine. I think it's ludicrous to do the other thing and just sit down and open that can of worms and draw all these threads from members to members and entries to voters and say, well, this entry and this voter, they had an argument on the forums, and that could lead to bias, so that vote's invalidated. And this member and that member, they have a history together, and that vote's invalidated because of bias. I think that's ridiculous to ask anybody to do. I don't think that's a way you should handle votes at all. However, I do understand that many BZ Power staff members would like to stick to policy 2, which is okay, except you have to address all the times before when it's happened. I would expect if I'd come to any staff member and said, well, these people have been saying these things about me, behind my back online this other site, the answer would be, I'm sorry, we can't control what goes on other sites. We can't control what goes on in members' heads when they vote. I'm sorry, there's just nothing we can do about it. Which I would be perfectly fine with. That's policy 1. That's what I believe in. But suddenly, there seems to be this position where we can do something about it if a certain staff member is not happy with the result that they got. And suddenly now it's shifted to being policy 2 without any addressal or without any clarification of everything that's gone beforehand. It seems very convenient that they switched policies on us just because a certain member didn't get the result that they thought they deserved. Now, this isn't meant to be a commentary on how this person is or how they are in real life, only and purely of reading what they've said directly to me and my group on the BZ Power blogs and on Tumblr. And to be honest, one of the replies that they gave was that touting the idea that BZ Power has a very big connection with Lego. In fact, they are part of the Lego Ambassador program. But out of the stuff that's been said, both on the blogs and on Tumblr, I'm honestly appalled that this kind of attitude and that kind of language is not only tolerated, but encouraged by rewarding said member with a very high staff positionship. And again, I have no idea what goes on behind the scenes. I have no idea if this position was given to the staff member because of how he carries himself in real life, which might be completely different from the person that I've seen. From what I've seen, however, from the way that this person carries himself online behind a computer screen as a wall of text, I'm kind of appalled that a community I used to be a part of not only actively ignores the inflammatory remarks that this member has said, but actively sides with him on an accusation that has no decisive evidence and handing out punishments simply because someone decided to throw a tantrum.
It's no shock to anyone when I say that I'm a very outspoken individual. Numerous times on BZPower, I've gotten myself into quite the sticky wicket because I opened my wonderful wired keyboard here. As of recent, I've had to tone that down by a large degree due to the fact that we are a now driving force in some areas of a particular Technic-related community. Now, I'm not saying we're any bigwigs or whatnot, but, we make content and a lot of people seem to like it and view it, and for that reason, I have to keep my trap shut. I can't talk about my personal opinions. I normally have to remain on the down low and make sure I don't say anything that might anger somebody or offend somebody, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine. I think that's a great way to conduct oneself, be an unbiased individual that likes to please everyone and give everyone some unbiased, enjoyable content to view and enjoy. BZPower, throughout the last 4 years after Bionicle's ending, has stopped maintaining that policy. And let's be honest here, it is their site. They can do with their site what they wish. But they shouldn't have to hide that. Hypocrisy is when you say you're going to do one thing and do not condone someone doing something and then do it on your own. BZPower is hypocritical. Even when I don't open my mouth, I'm getting punished by BZPower staff, reprimanded for things that were not even intentional or not even my fault, or things that, just things that to anyone should not matter unless you make it a point to read into it and make a problem about it. BZPower members and BZPower staff alike have gone to numerous different sites to trash talk me specifically for something as stupid as a pixel comic. And that's ridiculous. I know I didn't get punished, but I also didn't speak anything. I didn't say anything. I was still despised because of my lonesome pixel comic. Did I break any rules? Of course not. Did I break any rules this time? No, I didn't. And I still haven't made any public statements. However, somehow the hatred seems to intensify. I recently had a conversation with one of the staff members, tangentially related, and he made a public statement saying that the actions that TTV has taken embarrass him. That's not a direct quote. I'm paraphrasing. And I'm sitting here, and I'm looking at what these particular LEGO ambassadors are saying, what they are going out on several forms of social media, including their own site, and saying about other members of the community. You can look at what we did however you like. Whether it's true or not, you can look at our autopsies and go, I don't like that. All that you want. But if you're going to sit there and say that we're the ones at fault for spitting in the face of the community, a reevaluation is in order. You need to take a step back, look at what you're saying, think about your actions. You guys were the largest Bionicle fan base ever. You played a large role in the digitalization of Bionicle content. Act like it. And stop calling us the embarrassments, because we're not the ones attacking you. Also, for the love of Matt Newey, the next time you're going to suspend me, don't make it so people can send me PMs. I got 5 PMs, and I can't answer a single one of them.
Yeah, I guess, LJ, you just brought up a very good point, because this is really the opposite of what we would like for things to be. We don't want to, we have our issues with BZP, but we don't go out of our way to talk about them or defame them. It's a live and let be scenario, usually. Even if we don't like what they're doing, they do their thing, we do our thing. We have no reason to get involved. It's only when something like this comes up, and we have to keep the fans informed. And I am very grateful that we have our channel as a means of being able to give a public statement that would dispel any of these rumors, because we don't have an active Tumblr presence. We're not on Tumblr. This stuff could run amok and be there for weeks, and we wouldn't really be able to get any traction going as far as our side of the story. And by all means, this is not you need to hear this. This is not a call to arms, as we said at the beginning. We're going to say it at the very end. We do not want anyone to leave BZP or troll BZP or attack the staff member in question, because no doubt people are going to want to know who this guy is so they can get him. We tell you, don't do it.
Don't bother.
It's not worth your time. What you need to be doing is conducting the Bionicle 2015 hype train and keeping the fandom alive, not contributing to animosity and all this stuff behind the scenes.
Not all staff are like this.
No.
Not all the staff or people associated with the site are like this. A lot of them are very wonderful individuals, and we respect them greatly. There's certain individuals that we like, and that like us, and that don't attack us publicly.
Even some of the people that made comments on Tumblr about this whole situation, later we spoke to them, certain staff members in question, and they didn't have all the facts. They spoke out in the heat of the moment. There are some good people on there that are willing to admit when they got something wrong, as are we. But there are also people that are not like that, and that's a shame.
Right. And it does need to be made clear that everyone is human. Everyone makes mistakes. And I'm sure that we've slipped up and mentioned BZP somewhere or something. We shouldn't have done that. And for that, I apologize.
Yeah. Sending out stupid tweets in poor taste.
Sending out stupid tweets, doing stupid things. I apologize. We make mistakes. I apologize for any negative thing we might have said before that put anyone else in a bad light. I apologize for that.
Me too.
I apologize for any stupid thing we might have said in the forums that offended someone. I apologize for all these things that we have done to hurt anyone.
Yeah.
And if we did hurt you, I am truly, truly sorry for that.
Yeah.
Know that we are idiots sometimes, and we also learn from our mistakes. We've been growing ever so much since we started the YouTube thing. We've been getting a bunch of different people with different backgrounds, different beliefs. We have learned a lot. And it's a shame that so many people don't understand that as time goes on, things change. So just for those people, just know that I apologize for any negatives that may have come from us.
As do we all.
And with that said, what it all comes down to, we are no longer going to be reporting or sourcing any BZPower news. And our videos will remain our videos without any mention of BZP from this point on. We'll get our news elsewhere, and we will continue to update everyone about Bionicle, about its return, about any other LEGO news that we feel that's worth mentioning. We'll continue to make our shows, we'll continue to do our podcast, and we'll just keep doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
Because that's worked for us. I am Bardaran.
I'm Messina.
Growing old is mandatory. Growing up is optional. I'm LJ.
And I'm Venom.
And this has been TTV. Thanks for watching.
This has pretty much been a TTV podcast episode. We'll see you all next time. Like, favorite, rate, etc.
Oh my god.
Man.